Hello YouTube, this is Asatsu 5. I just got back from the range for the first time with my Rugal, just to show you that it is unloaded. Um, um, Very disappointing, not because the gun didn't fire, which was my main purpose or main reason I went there was just to test fire it, but because my shooting was so bad. Now, some things to note. Um, I have experiences with revolvers, but not necessarily snub nose revolvers. And just because I have experience with the revolvers doesn't mean I'm a good shot. I think I've said this in past videos. I am not a good shot at all. I passed the shooting portion of the concealed carry class with a Glock 19, and I wasn't I was kind of surprised that I passed. Um, and with my Walther, I wasn't terribly accurate. I was accurate enough for what I consider to be a realistic distance to someone that's threatening me. Now, if it's like an active shooter situation and the person is across the room, then I'm out of luck. Um, but yeah, this is my first time shooting a snub nose revolver, and I was not pleased. I got less than half the rounds on paper. Um, and I had a 50 round box. Got about 22 rounds that I consider to be on the paper. Um, and My first 5 shots, I didn't even hit the paper. And just, um, I'm not making excuses. I'm admitting that I'm a terrible shot. Um, I just want to get that across. Some people will be like, oh, the sun's in my eye, oh, whatever. No, I am a subpar shot with just about any handgun. Considering that I have actually cured a deer with a 357 Magnum Colt Triple. Most of my revolver shooting were single action shooting, Ruger Vaquero, Ruger Blackhawk, and the Colt Triple. And I did manage to harvest a deer with that Colt Triple. But um, this is proven to be a little bit different. And um, I appear to be a better shot with the Walther, but keep in mind, I think in the review of the Walther I showed my target. I don't have it anymore. The target looked like Swiss cheese on all of the paper. Just about, fired about 50 to 100 shots. I want to say 50, because I usually just buy one box and then I shoot and then I go home. Um, because I don't have a whole lot of money to practice. Um, I have to pay to shoot at a shooting range, a public shooting range. I do have a friend that has private property that I can shoot at, but, finding the time that we can both shoot is a little bit difficult. And he was actually helping me with my handgun shooting, but we haven't done that in a while. But, yes, this was a lot different than shooting that Colt Trooper or the Ruger Vaquero or the Ruger Blackhawk. This is double action only, which, again, I'm not making excuses, because at the end of the day, I'm the one pulling the trigger. It's my technique, and, it's something that I have to learn and get used to. And that's the thing. I've invested a lot of money into this gun. I got me a speed loader. Mostly not so much for the speed of reloading, but for the organization of spare shots. But I bought several holsters for this, and I even bought not high vis brand, but I bought a fiber optic front sight because I wasn't happy with the sight, and this was before I shot it. But I've never shot the Troth back sight before. And it seemed that I was hitting low and to the left. I have the target, but to tell you the truth, I'm a little bit embarrassed to show it. But I probably will show it eventually. But just trust me, I wasn't happy with my shooting. Those two handguns that I considered myself to be an above average shooter. And what I mean by above average, I'm not above average everybody else. I'm above average for my normal groups. And that's my Ruger, not Vaquero, Ruger Mark III with the tack-lock upper. And it's funny, I don't like the sights on it, but I can actually hit stuff with it. I don't know. I guess it's the magic of the 22. And my old, well, it was brand new to me, but my old Beretta Cheetah in 380. And the sights, I really liked the sights on it. And for some reason, that gun just pointed well for me. It was a above average size 380. You know, it was I would call it a full size 380, but it's probably more of a compact size. But it's a double stack, rather large 380 metal construction. It's not polymer, and so those guns, I know that a paper plate target, I can generally hit it, you know, from a relatively close distance. So I'm thinking about getting that 380, not so much for because I'm done with 357. No, that's far from the truth. I want to learn this gun. I want to get more proficient shooting it. You know, I invested in the holsters, you know, I got hollow points for it, and it was pretty comfortable carrying it. I enjoyed carrying it. The point of this video is that I'm telling you my experiences at the range. As a reviewer and as a vlogger, someone that's on YouTube, I try to keep my life as an open book. I try to be honest. I try to share my experiences as I experience them. And I just got a comment saying that I should check out someone's video that shows that 357 is about as powerful as a 9mm from a snub nose. And I researched this claim before I bought the 357 snub nose. And there was another video. Dang it, what's his name? I'm sorry for the silence, but I'm trying to look up that YouTuber. Anyways, well, no, I'm going to go ahead and do it because I don't want you to think that I'm just coming up with this video out of the blue. Paul Harrell has a video, personal protection 9mm versus 357, and with his test, 357 is considerably more powerful, or significantly more powerful than 9mm out of a snub nose. Now, I'll be forced to admit that you're not getting the full power of the 357 from a 2¼ inch barrel, but you're getting hundreds of feet per second faster than a 9mm from a similarly sized barrel from that video that I saw from him. And I just happen to trust him more than the other guy that posted a video. And also keep in mind, the whole point of the 357, getting a 357, wasn't purely about power. That was part of it. But it was also because I wanted a revolver. In my video talking about why I wanted a 357, I think I explained this pretty significantly, but I'll go over it again. I wanted it because the battery of arms, the shooting of the gun is simpler, as far as, you know, double action trigger, no real jamming or no malfunctions to feed. Basically, was one of my goals, and it's true. If something goes wrong with a revolver, it's a lot harder to fix than a automatic, but I've had more malfunctions out of automatic than I've had out of revolver. I've owned a lot more revolvers than I've had automatics. Well, maybe now that I got the Walther, probably around the same amount. But I've shot a lot of revolvers, full sized, mostly single action. I've owned one other double action revolver, and I've had more malfunctions out of automatics than I've had out of revolvers. So I just deem them to be more reliable, and that's my own personal opinion from my experiences. I know for the most part, a lot of people have a lot of good experiences with automatics, and I don't hate automatics. I love the Ruger Mark III with the tack-light upper. I love that Beretta 84 Cheetah, but my past experiences with automatics versus past experiences with revolvers, my revolvers tend to be more reliable, and that's another part of it. And then there's a third part of it, and I don't think I mentioned this in the past video. I wanted to get a snub-nose revolver, I wanted to get a 4-inch revolver, and I wanted to get a M357 Magnum, and I wanted to get a Henry Big Boy M357 Magnum, a 357 Magnum carbine. I wanted to have several guns and that all took 357 Magnum. That is something that I didn't mention in the past, but I wanted ammo. What's the word I'm looking for? I wanted to have several guns that take the same ammo in different configurations. Those are some of the reasons that I went with this. But I did research 357 versus 9mm, and the video that I watched proved that this was more powerful. And also, I don't know if this is a valid argument. This is something that I kind of came up with. If you got let's say you got this is probably a bad argument, but I'm going to share it with you because this is my thought process. And feel free to poke holes in my thought process, because that's what YouTube is for. It's a discussion. In my opinion, it's a discussion, and it's a learning platform. But I figured if I had a 9mm with a, let's just say 2-inch barrel, and a 357 and a 2-inch barrel, and I shoot them both, and this has significantly more kick, then that's more pressure pushing the bullet out from the same size barrels as the 9mm. Therefore, there's more velocity behind this bullet. My logic could be flawed. I will let you discuss that with me. But the videos that I saw, or the main video that I'm quoting, showed that a 357 Magnum from a snub nose with similarly grained bullets, the 357 Magnum was a good bit, had higher velocity. And if you have higher velocity with the same diameter bullet and around the same grain weight, then that equals more power. So there, that's all I'm going to say about caliber choice. Another reason why I wanted 357 Magnum in a revolver, if I'm going to carry a smaller caliber, I want higher capacity. If I'm going to carry a smaller gun that has similar capacity, I want a more powerful round. Now, it can be argued this 5-shot versus, I think, well, the Walther was 6+1, so that's 2 extra rounds. But I perceive this as being a better stopper. And keep in mind, I'm not one of those caliber elitists that says I only carry 380 and above. I've carried 32. I've carried 25. I think different guns have different purposes, and they help us achieve those purposes. And so different tools for different jobs. although the job is kind of similar, stopping the threat, but the execution of that job, whether what you're wearing, where you're going, those variables change. So I just wanted to make a video talking about this because, well, it was my experience, and I want to get better at shooting this. I want to learn it. I want to improve my skill. And the way I see it, if I improve myself at shooting this accurately, that means I can shoot other guns that are different more accurately. Yeah, so that's the news from the range. Disappointed in my shooting performance. I did start hitting the target more towards the end, but I only had one box. But I want to improve at shooting this firearm, and I want to get some other 357s. You know, the 4-inch 357, the carbine 357, and I'm considering getting that Beretta because I really love that Beretta. I really miss it. But yes, I need more practice, possibly some training. Here's something that I want to say. I wasn't brought up trained to shoot a pistol. I didn't start shooting pistols until a little bit later in life. My dad trained me to shoot a hunting rifle from a benched seat with a scope, and that was partly because that's what he could shoot. His eyes aren't as he doesn't have young eyes, so that's how he taught us to shoot. So when it comes to shooting handguns, I'm really making it up as I'm going along. I'm teaching myself, and occasionally when I'm with friends or people that I trust that are better shots with me with handguns, I try to learn from them. Again, I'm not making excuses. I am a subpar shooter. There's certain guns that just seem to point better for me, but this one is definitely not that one. But I feel if I can learn this gun, that will make me a better shot overall. So that's it. I'm a Satsu 5. I'm probably planning on making some more vlog style videos, but that's it. I'm a Satsu 5 and I'm out.